Standing at the departure gate watching my entire family board the plane to Hawaii without me, I realized the most expensive lesson of my life cost exactly $20,000. And it wasn't about the money. I'm Carmel Berman, 35 years old, and until that moment at Gate B22, I thought I was living the American dream. I owned a successful automotive repair shop in Denver, had a beautiful family, and had just spent 3 years saving every penny for what was supposed to be our perfect Hawaiian vacation. You know how it is. You skip the fancy coffees, work extra hours, tell yourself that one day it'll all be worth it when you're sitting on that beach with the people you love most. Before I continue, I want to thank you all for being here with me today. Please leave a comment below where you're watching from and what time it is. This small gesture means the world to me. For 3 years, this Hawaii trip was all I talked about. Sharon, my wife of 15 years, would roll her eyes when I'd pull up another hotel website during dinner. Jake, our 22-year-old son, who just graduated from college, would humor me by looking at surfing lessons. Emma, 19 and halfway through her sophomore year, had already picked out every Instagram-worthy spot on the island. We were going to do it right. First-class flights, ocean view suites at the Grand Waila, Lewis, helicopter tours, the whole 9 yards. The planning started intensely 6 months ago. I handed Jake my credit card to book everything online since, as he constantly reminded me, he was better with the internet stuff. $20,000. That's what paradise for a week costs when you want to give your family everything. Sharon seemed oddly distracted during our planning sessions, always on her phone, always stepping out to take calls. When I asked, she said it was her sister Linda having marriage problems. Linda never liked me much. Thought her sister could have done better than a guy who worked with his hands for a living. The morning of our flight, I was up at 4, too excited to sleep. I'd laid out my Hawaiian shirt, the one with the tiny pineapples that Emma bought me as a joke, but I secretly loved. Sharon was already in the shower. Jake was presumably packing last minute like always, and Emma was doing her makeup routine that apparently required 2 hours minimum. Normal family chaos, right? The drive to Denver International was filled with my chatter about snorkeling and Pearl Harbor, while everyone else seemed unusually quiet. Sharon kept checking her phone. Jake drove, insisted on it actually, which should have been my first real warning sign. The kid never wanted to drive when he could be a passenger scrolling through TikTok. At the check-in counter, Jake handled everything. "I got this, Dad," he said, waving me away when I tried to help. They printed 4 boarding passes, and he handed them out. Mine looked different somehow, but I was too excited to really examine it. We went through security together, my carry-on packed with sunscreen and the good camera. Sharon barely spoke, just occasional mms to my rambling about maybe trying to surf for the first time at 35. We got to Gate B 45 minutes early. I bought everyone overpriced airport coffee. $16 for a latte should be criminal, but hey, vacation mode, right? That's when Jake cleared his throat in that way that meant bad news was coming. The same throat clear from when he crashed my truck junior year, from when he needed bail money that one time we don't talk about. "Dad," he started, not meeting my eyes, "I just realized something. When you gave me your card to book everything, I forgot to buy your ticket. I bought 4 tickets, but yours, I don't know what happened. The flight's completely full. You should probably just go home. We'll FaceTime you from the beach." The airport noise seemed to stop. That thing where your brain refuses to process information because it doesn't make sense. That's where I was. Sharon looked at me with this cold expression I'd never seen before. Not concern, not surprise, just coldness. "These things happen, Carmel. We can't miss the flight. The kids have been looking forward to this." Emma wouldn't look at me at all, just mumbled something that might have been sorry into her iced coffee. They started gathering their bags, moving toward the gate where boarding had begun. First class, of course. I stood there holding my useless boarding pass, which I now realized was just a printed piece of paper, not a real ticket at all. Section 2, The Betrayal Unfolds. "Wait," I said, my voice sounding strange and far away. "You're all just going to leave? Without me?" Sharon sighed like I was being dramatic. "Carmel, there's nothing we can do. The resort is booked. Everything's paid for. It would be silly for all of us to miss out. Jake made a mistake. These things happen. These things happen." She kept saying that like accidentally leaving your husband behind on a $20,000 vacation was equivalent to forgetting milk at the grocery store. Jake was already in line, showing his boarding pass to the gate agent. Real boarding pass, I noticed, not like the fake printout in my hand. "Jake," I called out, but he just waved without turning around. "We'll figure it out when we get back, Dad. Maybe you can catch a flight tomorrow." The gate agent announced final boarding. Sharon grabbed her Louis Vuitton carry-on, the one I'd bought her for our anniversary, and headed to the gate. Emma finally looked at me, and for a second, I thought I saw guilt in her eyes. But then she whispered, "Mom says it's for the best," and hurried after them. I watched my family board that plane, watched them disappear down the jet bridge without a single backward glance. The gate agent gave me a sympathetic look as she closed the door. "Rough day?" she asked. "Lady, you have no idea." I stood at the window and watched the plane push back from the gate. Somewhere in those first-class seats, my family was settling in for their flight to paradise. Without me, the dad who paid for it all, the husband who'd worked overtime for 3 years, the fool who'd handed over his credit card without question. The drive home was surreal. You ever have those moments where you're going through the motions but your brain is somewhere else entirely? I nearly missed my exit. The house felt different when I walked in. Same furniture, same photos on the walls, but it was like walking into a stranger's home. That's when my phone buzzed with an email notification. Credit card statement. I opened it, and there it was. The charge for the airline tickets. 4 tickets. Purchased 2 months ago. 4, not 3. With one forgotten. 4. I scrolled through my email, searching for the confirmation Jake had forwarded me. Found it. 4 tickets. Confirmed. But wait. There was another email 2 weeks old that I'd somehow missed. Ticket cancellation confirmation. 1 ticket canceled. Refund processed to a different account. My hands were shaking as I called the airline. The customer service rep was cheerful until she heard my situation. "Oh, honey," she said, "and you know it's bad when customer service feels sorry for you. That ticket was deliberately canceled 14 days ago. The refund went to a different credit card. Do you want that number?" I did. It was Sharon's sister Linda's card. Linda, who supposedly had been having marriage problems that required constant phone calls. Linda, who lived in Scottsdale and always complained about never going anywhere tropical. I sat down on my couch, our couch, though I was starting to question everything that was ours, and tried to process this. They hadn't forgotten. They'd planned this. My family had deliberately, consciously, intentionally left me behind. My phone rang. Jake's girlfriend, Brittany. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Mr. B, did you guys take off yet? I'm so jealous. My parents are already at the resort. They said the weather is perfect. Jake promised to teach me to surf. Isn't it cool that we could all coordinate our vacations together?" Her parents, at the resort, the same resort where my family was heading. I managed to mumble something about needing to go and hung up. The pieces were clicking together like the world's worst jigsaw puzzle. Section 3. The Unraveling. The empty house felt like it was mocking me. Every family photo on the wall seemed to be laughing. The one from last Christmas where we're all wearing matching pajamas? Sharon's smile looked forced now that I really examined it. Jake's graduation photo? He's looking at his phone, not the camera. When had we become this? I found myself in Sharon's home office, a room I rarely entered because she said she needed her space to run her online boutique. Her laptop was there, closed, but not locked. I'm not proud of snooping, but when your family abandons you at an airport, I think normal rules go out the window. Her email was still logged in, and there, in a folder labeled Hawaii Planning, was everything. The real story. Email threads with Linda going back 6 months. The subject lines alone told the story. Operation Freedom. Making it happen, he won't know. My personal favorite. Finally, the emails painted a picture that made my chest tight. Sharon and Linda had been planning this for months. It wasn't just a vacation. It was what Linda called an intervention. Apparently, I was holding Sharon back from her true potential. My successful business that paid for our lifestyle? Blue-collar embarrassment. My dedication to family? Suffocating. The fact that I didn't want to invest $50,000 in Sharon's yoga studio idea? Financial abuse. That yoga studio. Sharon had mentioned it exactly once, 6 months ago. She had no yoga training, had never run a business, but Linda convinced her she was meant to be a wellness entrepreneur. When I suggested maybe starting with getting certified first, I became the enemy of her dreams. There were emails with Jake too. My son, who I'd taught to throw a baseball, who I'd bailed out of trouble more times than I could count, was bought off with promises. Sharon would pay off his student loans if he went along with the plan. $20,000 in loans, paid for by the $20,000 I'd saved for this trip. The poetry of it would be beautiful if it wasn't my life falling apart. But the worst was finding Emma's diary, left open on her bed like she wanted me to find it. The guilt poured off the pages. Mom says Dad's controlling, but he's never seemed that way to me. I don't want to go without Dad, but Mom promised to pay my sorority dues for the whole year. Jake says it's just a vacation, not a big deal, but it feels wrong. The last entry, dated this morning. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. My phone buzzed. A text from my neighbor, Bob. Thought you were in Hawaii? Saw your truck in the driveway? So did I, Bob. So did I. I made myself a sandwich, turkey and Swiss. Sharon always said my sandwiches were too boring, and sat at the kitchen table where we'd planned this trip so many times. That's when more pieces started clicking. The resort reservation that Sharon insisted on handling, the restaurant reservations Jake was so eager to make, the activity bookings Emma researched with unusual enthusiasm. They weren't just planning a vacation. They were planning my absence. Brittany called again. This time I answered, ready for information. She was a sweet girl, not the brightest, which is probably why Jake liked her. Easier to manipulate. Mr. B, Jake just texted. They landed safely. My parents are picking them all up in the rental van. Isn't it funny how it worked out that we could get connecting rooms? Jake said you didn't mind staying home since you hate flying anyway. I hate flying. I'm a mechanical engineer who rebuilt a 1969 Mustang from the ground up. I don't hate anything that involves motion and machinery, but Jake had created a whole narrative where I chose to stay home. Brittany, what exactly did Jake tell you about this trip? Oh, just that it was so cool his mom's sister could come with her husband, and that you were super supportive about letting them have family bonding time while you handled some big work project. You're like the best dad ever for paying for everyone. The sister's husband, Linda's husband Tom, who barely spoke to me at family gatherings. They were all there. A big, happy family vacation, minus the guy who paid for it. Section 4, the investigation. I called the Grand Wailea, lovely woman at the front desk. Probably heard every sob story in the book, but mine made her pause. Let me check that reservation for you, Mr. Berman. The keyboard clicking was like a countdown to more pain. Oh, yes, I see here the reservation was modified 3 weeks ago, changed from 4 guests to 6, and the room configuration was adjusted. Instead of 2 ocean view suites, it's now 3 garden view doubles. 6 guests? Yes, sir. Sharon and Linda Berman in one room, Jake Berman and Emma Berman in another, and Brittany Palmer and her parents in the third. Not even using my last name for Linda. She'd promoted herself to immediate family, and Brittany's parents, people I'd met exactly twice, were enjoying my $20,000 Hawaiian dream. Can I ask about the payment? It's all been prepaid, Mr. Berman. Though I do see a note here about some activities being canceled and refunded to a different card. Would you like those details? I would. $5,000 in activities, the helicopter tour, the snorkeling expedition, the Pearl Harbor visit, all canceled and refunded to Linda's card. They'd kept the hotel and flights, ditched the experiences, and pocketed the difference. If you're enjoying this story and want to hear how this all plays out, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means everything to a small channel like mine. My phone was buzzing with social media notifications. Sharon had posted, first photo from Hawaii, her and Linda raising mai tais with the sunset behind them. Sister's trip. Sometimes you just need to get away from it all. From it all, I was it all. The comments were already flowing. Her book club friends congratulating her on taking time for herself. Linda's yoga friends, because of course Linda did yoga, praising their goddess energy. And there, in the corner of the photo, I could see Jake's profile. My son who forgot to buy my ticket. I dove deeper into the financial situation. Our joint checking account showed interesting patterns. Small withdrawals over 6 months, always just under the amount that would trigger a notification. 500 here, 700 there. Sharon had slowly drained about $8,000. That explained the new designer bags she said were samples from the boutique. Her business. I pulled up the boutique's website, last update 4 months ago. The Instagram dormant for 6 months. The business was dead, but she'd been working late 3 nights a week. Where had she been going? Credit card statements revealed the answer. Charges at a wine bar downtown, always Tuesday and Thursday nights, the same nights she had inventory. Checking the amounts, she wasn't drinking alone. Those were two-person tabs, sometimes three. The location was 5 minutes from Linda's investment firm office. My best friend Carlos called. "Hey, hermano, Bob said you're home. Everything okay?" Carlos had been my friend since high school. If anyone would have noticed something, it would be him. "Carlos, has Sharon seemed different to you lately?" The pause told me everything. "Hermano, I didn't want to say anything, but at your 4th of July party, I heard her talking to Linda about making changes and new beginnings. I thought maybe you guys were planning to move or something." New beginnings. While I was planning our dream vacation, Sharon was planning her escape, using my money to fund it. Day 2 started with my phone exploding. 56 missed calls, but not for the reasons they expected. See, while they were boarding their plane to paradise, I wasn't just driving home to sulk. I was planning. 3 years of saving taught me patience. Running a successful business taught me strategy. And being married to Sharon for 15 years taught me exactly where all the bodies were buried, financially speaking. First call yesterday afternoon. The credit card company canceled all cards on the account. Yes, all of them, including the authorized user cards. Sharon's, Jake's, even the emergency card hidden in Emma's college backpack. The very helpful customer service rep, after hearing my story, expedited new cards only in my name to arrive tomorrow. Second call, the bank transferred everything from joint checking to my business account. Legal? My lawyer buddy confirmed that either party can withdraw from joint accounts. Ethical? They left me at an airport after stealing $20,000. I think we're past ethical. Third call, the Grand Wiley. This one was particularly satisfying. "I need to modify my reservation," I told them. "Certainly, Mr. Berman. What changes would you like to make?" "I'd like to cancel the return flights for all 6 guests." "I'm sorry, sir, but those were booked separately through the airline." "Right. But I could cancel all the amenities. The spa packages Sharon booked, the golf tee times for Tom, the sunset cruise, the luau, all of it. Canceled. Refunded to my new card." The missed calls started around dinner time in Hawaii. First from Sharon, then Jake, then Emma, then numbers I didn't recognize. Probably Linda and Tom. Even Brittany's parents, which was bold, considering I'd never given them my number. I listened to the first voicemail while eating leftover pizza, pepperoni, which Sharon claimed gave her migraines, but I suspected she just wanted to control another thing. Sharon's voice, tight with anger. "Carmel, the card was declined at dinner." Very funny. "Call me back immediately." The second one, 20 minutes later. "This isn't amusing. We're at a very nice restaurant with Brittany's parents. Fix this, now." The 3rd through 10th were variations on a theme. Anger dissolving into confusion, then panic. My favorite was number 15, where I could hear Linda in the background saying, "I told you we should have gotten the money up front." Jake's texts started cocky. "Dad, your prank isn't funny." Then concerned, "Seriously, Mom's freaking out." Then desperate, "Dad, please." Brittany's parents think we're broke. Then the negotiation. "If this is about the ticket thing, we can talk when we get home." Emma called once, just once. Her voice was small, crying. "Dad, Mom and Aunt Linda are screaming at each other." Jake's girlfriend broke up with him. Her parents left. They said we're trash. Mom tried to use Aunt Linda's card, but it got declined too because she maxed it out buying first-class upgrades. We're stuck. The hotel wants a working card, or we have to leave. "Dad, I'm scared." That one almost got me, almost. But then I remembered her diary. She knew, and she went anyway. I posted on Facebook. A simple photo of me in my backyard hammock with a beer. Sometimes the best vacation is a staycation. Enjoying the peace and quiet. The comments were immediate. Sharon's book club friends were confused. "Thought you were in Hawaii?" Sharon posted beach photos. I replied to each one, "Plans change. You know how it is." Bob came over with a 6-pack. That's the thing about good neighbors. They know when not to ask questions. We sat on the porch, watching the sunset that was definitely not Hawaiian, but still pretty decent. "You need anything?" Bob asked after the 3rd beer. "A good contractor. Thinking about renovating the master bedroom." He smiled. "Converting it to a man cave?" "Something like that." My phone kept buzzing. I'd check occasionally, like watching a disaster movie. The hotel had given them 24 hours to produce a valid payment method. Linda was trying to get money from Tom, but apparently, Tom controlled their finances tightly. Something about Linda's previous investment opportunities that went nowhere. Sharon was trying to contact the boutique's investors, but since the business had been dead for months, those bridges were charred. Jake had tried to get an emergency credit card, but turns out, when you're 22 with no job and massive student loans, banks aren't eager to help, especially when your co-signer, that would be me, isn't answering his phone. The best part? Sharon had bragged to everyone about this luxury Hawaiian vacation, posted constantly on social media. Her friends, her family, everyone knew they were there. The humiliation of having to leave early, of being essentially evicted from paradise, would be social suicide in her circle. Section 6. The Karma Hurricane. Day 3 brought the Karma Hurricane in full force. It started with food poisoning. Tom, Linda's husband, decided to be adventurous with a shrimp truck. Street food in paradise. What could go wrong? Everything, as it turned out. Linda's Instagram story showed him looking green by the pool, then nothing for 12 hours. When she posted again, it was from what looked like a medical clinic. Jake's relationship imploded spectacularly. Brittany's parents, the Palmers, were apparently the potential investors Sharon had been courting for her zombie yoga studio. They'd been sold on the idea of a successful family business, with Jake positioned as the heir apparent to my auto shop empire. When they realized Jake had lied about everything, the family wealth, the business succession plan, even my supposed blessing of their relationship, they pulled Brittany out faster than a NASCAR pit stop. The security footage from the hotel lobby, a helpful bellhop sent me the TikTok someone posted, showed Brittany throwing Jake's promise ring into the koi pond while shouting, "Your family is trash. We're going to Maui." The Palmers had money, real money. They pivoted to another island entirely, leaving my family stranded with their expired dreams. Sharon's meltdown in the lobby went viral on Hawaiian Twitter. Someone captioned it, "Karen discovers consequences." In the video, she's demanding to speak to a manager while Linda tries to calm her down. Jake is visible in the background, on his phone, probably trying to download a payment app that might magically produce money. Emma is sitting on their luggage, head in her hands. The hotel moved them from 3 garden view rooms to 1 standard room with 2 beds. 6 adults in 1 room. The photos Emma sent me, she'd started texting regularly now, showed chaos. Suitcases everywhere. Tom still sick. Linda and Sharon not speaking, after Linda admitted she'd maxed out her cards buying first-class upgrades she thought I'd reimburse. Jake sleeping on the floor. It was Lord of the Flies with room service they couldn't afford. Meanwhile, I was having the best week of my life. Hired a divorce attorney with the retainer I'd saved for vacation spending money. Hired a forensic accountant who found interesting things. Sharon had been skimming from our taxes for years, claiming expenses for her dead business. The IRS would be very interested. I started the bathroom renovation Sharon had been promising for 5 years. Gutted it completely. Posted progress photos on Facebook with captions like, "Sometimes you just gotta do it yourself." Her friends were commenting about how handy I was. One even private messaged, "Is everything okay?" Sharon posted that you were sick and couldn't travel. Sick. That was her story. I was sick, not abandoned. Carlos came over to help with the demo. "You know, hermano, I never liked Sharon. She once told my Maria that she was brave for marrying a landscaper. Like manual labor was contagious." That sounded like Sharon and Linda, the sisters who thought they were too good for the men who loved them. Day 4 brought desperate negotiations. Sharon called from Linda's phone, trying to sound reasonable. "Carmel, honey, there's been a misunderstanding." "Oh? Which part? The part where you deliberately canceled my ticket, stole vacation money, or lied to everyone about why I'm not there? It wasn't supposed to happen like this," Linda said. "Linda said what? That you deserved better? That I was holding you back? How's that working out for you?" She started crying. The fake tears that used to work on me. The kids are miserable. Emma won't stop crying. Jake got sunburned because we can't afford sunscreen. Tom might need hospitalization. Sounds like a you problem. Or more specifically, a Linda problem, since this was her idea. How did you know? Your email. Your very detailed, very stupid email trail. My lawyer has copies, by the way. The silence was beautiful, then whispered, "Lawyer? Divorce lawyer. Also, the IRS might be calling about your boutique tax filings. Turns out, claiming fake business expenses is fraud." She hung up. Section 7. The Return and Reckoning. They came home 3 days early. I watched from my security camera as the Uber pulled up. Couldn't afford the airport shuttle, apparently. They looked like refugees from a resort war, sunburned, exhausted, dragging luggage with broken wheels because they'd had to buy the cheapest ones for the return trip. Sharon tried her key. Nothing. Tried again. Still nothing. The dawning realization on her face was almost worth $20,000. Almost. She started pounding on the door. Carmel, open this door right now. This is my house too. I spoke through the new Ring doorbell, installed yesterday, great reviews. Actually, according to my lawyer, I can change the locks if I feel threatened. Your emails about escaping and breaking free suggest I might be in danger. Your belongings are in the garage. You can't do this. These things happen, I said, echoing her airport words. By the way, Linda and Tom should probably go home. Tom looks like he needs a real bathroom. Tom, still green, was leaning against their rental car. Linda was trying to look dignified, while clearly calculating if she could stay with other friends after this humiliation. Jake tried the aggressive approach. Dad, open the door or I'll... You'll what? Call the cops? Please do. I have a printed record of the $20,000 theft you participated in. Fraud, conspiracy, elder abuse, since you targeted someone over 35. You're not elderly. Financial abuse doesn't have an age requirement, son. Your girlfriend's dad is a lawyer. Oh wait, ex-girlfriend, how did that work out? He deflated like a punctured tire. Brittany had apparently posted their entire breakup story on TikTok. He was now known as Hawaii Scam Boy to everyone under 25 in Denver. Emma approached the doorbell camera. Her face was swollen from crying, and for a moment, I wavered. My baby girl. Dad, she said quietly, I know you hate me. I deserve it. I just want you to know I'm sorry, really sorry. Not because of how it turned out, but because of what we did. What I did. I don't hate you, Emma. I'm disappointed. There's a difference. Can I at least get my school stuff? I'd already thought about this. Your college things are in a storage unit, paid for through the semester. You have two choices. Continue school with my support if you live on campus and get a part-time job, or stay with your mother and figure it out yourself. What about my sorority dues? That was going to be paid with stolen money, so no. She nodded, tears fresh. I understand. I choose school. And Dad, the job part? I already applied at 5 places. Yesterday from Hawaii. While Mom and Aunt Linda were fighting over whose fault everything was. Maybe there was hope for her after all. Sharon had moved to the garage, discovering her things neatly packed in boxes. Not thrown, not damaged, just packed, like she was already a stranger. The marriage certificate was on top of one box, along with the divorce papers. 20 years, Carmel. You're throwing away 20 years. No, Sharon, you threw it away. I'm just taking out the trash. Linda decided to interject. You can't treat my sister like this. She deserves exactly what she's getting. Nothing. And you, Linda, deserve this. I held up my phone, showing an email. Defamation lawsuit. You posted on Facebook that I was abusive and controlling. My lawyer says that's libel, especially since you profited from it. I didn't profit. The $5,000 in canceled activities refunded to your card says otherwise. Tom, from the car, vomited into their luxury handbag, the one Sharon had bought with my money for Linda's birthday. Karma has a sense of humor. The neighbors were watching now. Bob gave me a thumbs up. Mrs. Patterson from across the street actually applauded. Turns out, Sharon had been telling everyone I was controlling and abusive for months, preparing her narrative. But they'd all seen me working in the yard, helping with block parties, being a normal guy while Sharon complained about everything. Jake tried one more time. Dad, where am I supposed to go? Your mother is standing right there. Or maybe Aunt Linda has room. Oh wait, Tom's sick. Better not risk it. Section 8, the new beginning. 6 months later, my life was unrecognizable. In the best way possible. The divorce was finalized in record time. Sharon got half of almost nothing since I'd proven financial fraud. The business was protected as premarital asset. The house was mine since I'd inherited it from my parents. She got her car, her clothes, and her dead business inventory. She also got the IRS bill for fraudulent deductions. Jake was living with Sharon in a 2-bedroom apartment, working at a big box store. He'd posted a public apology on social media, not that it helped. Hawaii Scam Boy had stuck. He'd reached out once, asking if he could work at my shop. I told him to get 2 years of experience elsewhere first. Prove he could hold a job without Daddy's protection. Emma thrived. She got a job at a campus bookstore, moved into a smaller dorm, and called me every Sunday. Real calls, not asking for money. She was in therapy, working through why she'd gone along with the plan. Turns out Sharon had been emotionally manipulating her for years, threatening to withdraw love if Emma didn't comply. We were slowly rebuilding. Sharon's yoga studio never materialized. Linda's husband Tom filed for divorce after the Hawaii incident. Apparently, the credit card fraud was the last straw in a long line of Linda's schemes. The sisters live together now, two bitter women, blaming everyone but themselves. Sharon worked at a department store. Her social media, once full of inspirational quotes and luxury aspirations, went dark. I took that Alaska trip, used part of the $20,000 I'd saved from canceling everything. The Northern Lights were magnificent. Posted photos constantly. Finally made it to my dream destination. The comments were supportive, everyone knowing the real story by now. On that trip, I met Sarah, a widow from Oregon, hiking solo. We bonded over coffee and trail mix, both of us navigating life after betrayal, hers by cancer, mine by family. She actually laughed when I told her the Hawaii story. $20,000 to discover your wife was a snake. Bargain. My ex-husband's mistress cost me $50,000 in private investigators. Your husband had a mistress while you were fighting cancer. Ex-husband? And yes, some people show you who they are in crisis. Yours just did it with vacation planning. We kept in touch. She visited Denver. I went to Portland. No rush, no pressure. Just two people who understood that loyalty meant something. Emma met her at Thanksgiving. They baked pies together while I fixed Sarah's squeaky kitchen cabinet. She's nice, Dad, Emma said later. Like, genuinely nice. Not mom nice where there's always a catch. I knew what she meant. Sharon's kindness always had a price tag. Sarah just was. The text came while I was at work, rebuilding a transmission. Emma, Dad, look at Mom's Instagram. Sharon had reactivated it. One post, a motivational quote about rising from ashes over a sunset. The comments were brutal. Someone had linked the Hawaiian Twitter video. Another mentioned the IRS investigation. Her comeback attempt died in 5 minutes. She deleted everything again. Jake sent a letter, actual paper letter, which showed effort. He apologized properly this time. No excuses, no justifications, just owned what he did, said he was seeing a therapist working on why he was so easily manipulated. Asked if maybe, in a year, we could have coffee. I wrote back, maybe. Keep working on yourself. The workshop was busier than ever. Turns out my story had made me somewhat of a local legend. Guys would bring their cars in just to shake my hand. You're the Hawaiian dream guy? Man, that took balls. Business was up 30%. I hired 2 new mechanics, including Carlos's nephew. The house felt different now, lighter. I'd renovated everything Sharon had touched. The bathroom was spectacular. Rain shower, heated floors, the works. The bedroom was mine alone. California king bed right in the middle. The home office was now a library. I'd always wanted one. Sarah visited for New Year's. We watched fireworks from the renovated deck, bundled under a blanket that wasn't picked by someone else. She didn't comment on the house's transformation, didn't judge the clear erasure of Sharon. She just existed in the space with comfort. You know what the funny thing is? I said, sipping champagne that wasn't Sharon's prescribed brand. What's that? I spent $20,000 on a vacation I never took, and it was the best money I ever spent. She laughed. How do you figure? It revealed everything. Cost me $20,000 to buy my freedom. Some people pay lawyers hundreds of thousands for worse divorces. I got truth, clarity, and liberation for the price of a week in Hawaii. When you put it that way, plus I got 56 missed calls that I saved. Sometimes when I'm feeling too generous, I listen to them. Reminds me why boundaries matter. My phone buzzed. Emma, sending a photo from her dorm room where she was studying. Love you, Dad. Thanks for the second chance. Then another text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it until I saw the preview. Mr. Berman, this is Brittany's mom. I opened it fully. Mr. Berman, this is Brittany's mom. I wanted you to know we never believed the lies your wife told. We knew you were a good man. Brittany says Jake was nothing like you. Our offer stands. If you ever want to expand your shop, we'd be honored to invest with someone who has actual integrity. Also, my husband needs a classic car restored. Paying full rate, no family discount nonsense. You deserve every penny. The Palmers. I smiled, showing Sarah the message. You gonna take their offer? Maybe, but first, I'm thinking about taking a real vacation. Hawaii sounds nice. She raised an eyebrow. Really? Different island? Better company? I looked at her. Interested? I'll buy my own ticket, she said firmly, and book my own room. Until we're sure. A woman who understood boundaries and financial independence. The complete opposite of Sharon. Deal, I said, toasting to new beginnings that didn't require stealing $20,000 from someone who loved you. Karma doesn't always have a Jeeps, but it never forgets an address. Mine just happened to have a Hawaiian postmark and a $20,000 price tag, worth every penny.